Well, here we are with yet another price change. Yes, just 3 days after our previous one, we have yet another price change at Tesla. So I'm sitting here doing some last minute editing on today's video, at least the video that was planned for today. And unfortunately, I've already got to put an asterisk in there because pricing is now incorrect. Such is life when reporting out on Tesla, but we just roll with the punches. Now, this one's a little bit different than what we're used to at this point. Although we have had an increase at the beginning of the year, most of the price changes this year have been a decrease, which is a good thing. Today, we actually had a price increase, but there's also something very special about this increase because there's actually some new benefits being offered from Tesla that go along with these increases. Now, at this point, you've probably noticed that when breaking news does happen, we get a video up as quickly as possible. And if you haven't already, subscribing to the channel will help you be notified when breaking news happens. So as crazy as April has been this year, let's take a look back starting on April 6th. Just 16 days ago, there was a pretty substantial price decrease, and this impacted the Model Y and the Model 3, the Model S, and the Model X. The Model Y got $2,000 reduction across the board, $1,000 on the Model 3, and the Model S and Model X both received a $5,000 decrease. Now, this was a pretty substantial decrease given the fact that at the beginning of the year, they had a massive decrease. So we're in price levels that are in the $20,000 range, lower than what they were at the end of last year. That was just a little over 4 months ago. And these price changes are happening very fast. Being at number 8 here in April, just as a little bit of a baseline for you, in 2021, which was the crazy year of price changes, we had 12. So we already have 8 of them here in April. So this is guaranteed to be a crazy year for all these price changes. So then we had our second price change in April, and that was on the 18th, just 3 days ago. On April 18th, the standard range Model 3 went down by $2,000 and presents us with a $39,990 price, which is a fantastic number for the Model 3. Now, do keep in mind, it only gets half of the EV tax credit at $3,750, but a pretty good price for the Model 3 standard range. Over on the Model Y, there was a $3,000 reduction on the all-wheel drive Model Y, which now starts at $46,990. The long range, again, $3,000 at $49,990, and the performance, $3,000, now down to $53,990. So now today we have some more changes. And I want to start with the good news. If you are in the market for a Model 3 or a Model Y, do not worry. The Model 3 and Y did not receive a price change this time. Now, that's very likely to change very soon because one of the things that I have noticed is on the Performance Model 3, there are a couple of configurations that prevent you from getting all the options, and we're talking $1,000. So if the price of the Performance Model 3 came down just $1,000 more, you could get any configuration of the Performance Model 3 and qualify for the full tax credit. So do keep a lookout for the Performance Model 3 going down by $1,000 at some point very soon. Over on the Model S and the Model X, we actually saw an increase this evening. So first, let's start with the price, and then let's talk about what they're offering for this additional cost. The Model S long range went up $2,500 and is now $87,490. The Plaid Model S is $2,500 more as well at $107,490. Over on the Model X, it's the same story. Long range, $2,500 increase to $97,490, and the Plaid, $2,500 at $107,490. Now, they are offering something a little bit enticing to help justify this increase. As of this evening, Tesla is now offering free unlimited supercharging for new Model S and X purchases. The deal is if you bought it yesterday, April 20th, through June 30th, you will be given unlimited supercharging for 3 years. So you will have 3 years to consume as many miles as you want. And that comes alongside this $2,500 increase. So the interesting thing about this, just following the earnings call this week, there's been a lot of mixed emotions about how that went. On one hand, margin was lower than expected, and it was lower than a price point that had been communicated to investors that they would not go below. However, here we are under 20% now, which, to be fair, in the industry is an incredible number to be at. However, it is lower than the minimum that they said that they would go below. So as we continue to see these price decreases, it's very interesting to see prices now going up, especially when you look at the lead time for a Model S and a Model X. Last quarter, Tesla produced a lot more Model S's and a lot more Model X's than they actually sold. So actually sales are down quite a bit on the S and X. So to see a price increase is actually very interesting. Now, being able to offset that with some future benefit of unlimited supercharging miles is one clever way to try to accommodate that increase, but is it enough to bring in sales for the S and the X? Now, if they had just offered free unlimited supercharging for 3 years, I think that would be a pretty enticing benefit to get people to make an order, but to increase the price before giving those free supercharging miles is definitely an interesting tactic, and we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. Of course, Tesla's also rolled out recently the new Ultra Red, which is an incredibly beautiful color, but even that color can be had this month on an S and an X. So lead times are pretty much non-existent on most trims of most models. That includes the Model Y, the best-selling Tesla, and pretty soon to be the best-selling car in the world. So watching these price decreases happen and watching lead times not extend is definitely raising a lot of questions about what's happening to demand right now. Of course, there are a ton of macro environment issues going on right now that are putting a squeeze on the entire automotive industry, including interest rates, of course. So as these luxury items, high ticket price items like the S and the X, those are going to be harder and harder to sell. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Is Tesla going to be able to move all that excess inventory of S and X that they produced last quarter? And are they going to overproduce this quarter as well? We'll just have to wait and see on the next earnings call how this is all going to pan out. Do keep in mind as well, we've had a number of price decreases since the numbers were pulled for the earnings call. So there's going to be a lot of pressure this quarter for Tesla to deliver after that earnings call. I do hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, give it the thumbs up. If you haven't already, of course, subscribe to the channel as we continue to post content regularly. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram @BeardedTesla. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.